Thank you, everybody, for joining. We're going to be starting in just a few minutes. We're getting quite a few people just signing on now. So if you can bear with us just for an extra 2 minutes, we'll get started. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. I'm Chris Pyle. I'm with Champion Solutions Group and MessageOps, and I'm here alongside my friend Kevin Vogel. How you doing, Kevin?
I'm doing great today, Chris.
Excellent, excellent. And we're joined with our pals from Iron Scales today, and we're going to introduce Adam Hoffler. He's with us, as well as Ryan O'Keefe, who's going to be helping us with the demo today. Gentlemen, how are you guys? I hope you're doing well today.
Very good, thank you. Very good.
Excellent.
Doing great, Chris. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, no worries. So first of all, thank you guys so much, all the MessageOps members and Champion community for joining us today. And thank you so much for all the business that you have given us. Just just some background, as you guys have known, many of you are partners of ours and customers of ours, and we thank you for that business. You know, right now, MessageOps and Champion have deployed about 3.2 million seats to the Microsoft Office 365 cloud. Many of you have been on that journey with us, and we've been with you. And also, a lot of you are also our Office 365 CSP customers, and we thank you for that as well. One of the biggest things, right, Kevin, constantly that we get always been pinged on and customers asking is the overabundance of phishing that is happening in the Office 365 environment.
It's ridiculous.
It really is. Help desk calls out the kazoo to us, and it's just something that we don't think, and I know our friends at Iron Scales will talk about this as well, it's not going to get any better. It's only going to get worse, we all feel. And so a lot of you have asked, well, what are we as your partner doing to assist you with this? Well, over the past several months, we have been working with several different partners, if you would, that specialize in helping customers, avoid or try to avoid the massive phishing attacks and a lot of the liabilities that go with them. And I will have to tell you, we have worked with FishMe, we have worked with KnowBe4, and we have worked with one other, I think it was Mimecast.
Mimecast, right.
While all three of them have great solutions, we would not be doing our job if we weren't to bring forward the best one of them all, and that is absolutely Iron Scales. Our engineering team has been testing all of these internally and also with a set of you on the phone, so thank you for being, working with us. Right. But bar none, out of all of them, we have tied our cart to the Iron Scales horse. We definitely believe it's the best in breed that is out there amongst the major players. And
from both sides of the equation, both from the administration side, but more importantly, from the end user side.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, we really take it upon ourselves to do the work for you, to do the discovery, to come back so you don't have to. And we really believe that this solution is one of the best, if not the best, in the marketplace today. So before we kick off, we always like to start off, and I know a lot of you who are out there, want to know, hey, am I alone in this, or what's going on? So we have, as usual, some polls that we would like to share with the whole organization. Well, not the whole organization, but all of you who are on the phone. And the first question, Kevin, is,
have you experienced a phishing attack?
Can you please go ahead and answer that? And where would they find those polling questions?
We're actually going to, right now, 100%, 93% of you have said yes so far to this effect. Only now 11% have said no. So I think we're going to be in that 85 to 90 percentile. Right now, 68% of you have answered the poll question already.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're only at 70%, so we can just get a few more of you to answer that poll question. We'll get a good feel for what's going out there.
And you can see it's 90-10, Chris. 91 and 9% said no. So most of the people have had an attack. In fact, a majority of the people.
Right. So 91% of you have experienced a phishing attack so far. So that's fantastic. Here's the next question. Here's a one that I'm really interested in. I'm sure everybody else out of the hundreds of people that are on the call today. Here's one.
Has your company been held for ransom?
So we know you've been phished. Have any of you been held for ransom yet? Be interesting to see how that comes up yet. So we're only 46% of the way there. 60% of the way. So we got a few. Let's just give it a few more seconds here to make sure everybody answers on that. I'll be very interested to see where this comes up here. So let's just wait just a few more. We're at 75% voted right now. Just a few more people would be great. Okay, let's go ahead and stop. So this is really interesting here. Thank God, right? Thank God, only 79% of us have not been held for ransom.
Right.
But for the 21% of you who have been held for ransom, we're sorry about that for sure. And, I think we're all here to figure out how to prevent it from happening to me or prevent it from happening again.
Right.
So thank you so much for your answers there. Question, I guess the next question is there a mandate within the leadership of your organization to fix this? Has this been, we're trying to figure out, is this reached the board level or the executive level of your organization? Have they come out and told you guys in IT, you guys better have an answer for this, we don't want to be held? Or is it more just you guys doing some, some proactive work?
Exactly. So as you can see, a little over 50% of the people, and it's kind of 50-50 right now, Chris.
Yeah, so it's interesting there. So we'll just wait a few more seconds just to see if this has been mandated down from up top that you must fix this. Okay, so here we are. So 52% of you said no, it's not a mandate. 48% of you said yes, it is a mandate. And then is it a plan to, yeah, the next question really is this something, as we launched the new year, is this something that you guys plan on addressing in the new year? So if you could just please answer that. Is that something that your mandate has been, hey, you got to fix it this year, etc.? Okay, great. Thank you so much for a few of those. So just to let you know what your peers are working on and how they're looking. Carla over here. Carla is like it's a constant goal every year. So I hear you, Carla. Thank you for your comments.
For those of you that haven't noticed it, there is a question box in your Go to My webinar application. If you type in questions there, we'll try to answer them for you while we're on the webinar, or for sure at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a question and answer session. But please ask questions along the way. We'll try to get them so the experts get on the phone. Guys like Ryan and Adam can answer the questions for you live.
So 68% of you said yes, we need to address that this year. The other 32% said no, not this year. And then the last question, I know a lot of you guys might be asking is, am I the only person out here who doesn't have a phishing solution? Or, do you already have a phishing solution? It's not doing as well as you hoped, or do you have a phishing solution in place today? And just wanted to see how that is, how we're doing there and how you compare to your peers. Okay, William, I promise, man, no more. This is the last one, I promise, William. Last one right here. And we are at, so we're just about 70% no. We do not have 69% no, 31% yes, have a phishing solution.
That's it.
Okay, so we got a good one. Thank you very much. Hopefully you found some of those questions interesting on where you compare to your peers. So why don't we go ahead and let's go ahead. And I think, Adam, you're going to take over here. Kevin's going to control the, the slides. We'll only have a few slides, we promise, ladies and gentlemen, just a few slides before we let Ryan O'Keefe jump in and do some of the demonstration. So Adam, why don't you go ahead and take over on the presentation of the slides?
Sounds great. Kevin, are you going to pop the slides up? Perfect. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. First, we know it's never easy to kind of break away, but obviously from the audience and the size of it, it sounds like we've got, and with some of those answers of that question, it sounds like we've got a solution that might be able to help some of those answers. So the next time someone asks, you guys are covered. But I think it's always good, and thank you, Chris and Kevin, for kind of framing it up appropriately. There's a real epidemic and a real challenge when it comes to phishing or malicious emails. And we're going to talk a little bit about iron scales, but more importantly, we're going to show you a demo of how we actually do it in action, live demo, nothing can. We've got Ryan O'Keefe and Yaniv here on the line with us to help. But I'm not going to read all of these, but just when I say epidemic, it really is a challenge from the customers that we see. So my name is Adam Hoffler. I'm based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I run the sales organization for the Americas. But when we say epidemic, if you, I think 99% of our customers that are on here today are Office 365, which is fantastic. And some of the statistics that we see is there's been 34,000 phishing emails in September through October alone, right? You can see some of these large enterprises worldwide found that 37% of responders receive more than 10,000 alerts each month. Of those alerts, 52% were false positives. So we'll talk about how we can alleviate maybe the security team or the IT team. You can read some of the other ones. If I give you some additional statistics that aren't on the slide, that 95% of all cyber attacks, they begin with spear phishing. So when you hear the Sonys of the world or Facebook or some of these other huge, large companies and applications, they started in the mailbox or the messaging pieces. There's been a 65% increase from last year to this year on phishing and malicious emails. So as Chris mentioned, it's not going away, it's actually getting worse. So if we're not creating and having a solution that can solve the challenges, we're going to be in trouble down the road. And on average, there's usually 3.7 million in average losses for an organization, right? So some of that might be from a large organization or a smaller organization, but across the board on average, when you get hit, whether it's ransomware or maybe it's a soft cost of the time, energy, and effort for your security team to kind of get rid of the problem from a phishing attack, there's some significant losses that come about it. So we're here today to give you a little bit of an example of how can we solve this problem? How does it go back to the wayside? Kevin, next slide. So why is this a problem? What's going on in the marketplace? What do we see? And this was part of some of the answers that you guys gave us to the questions is the security email gateways, there's not enough capability. So we see security email gateways on the front end. And again, this could be a Proofpoint, a Mimecast, an Ironport, a Barracuda, a Symantec, but they're all usually sitting at the 10,000 foot level, putting rules inside to say, okay, I need to prevent this. Well, I've got news, and you guys have seen it, that the bad guys are getting really, really good at what they do, and they could very easily find out what can get through some thresholds and what can't, right? So there's a lot of things that go into that from a gateway perspective. There's also the human error, right? we get what you call happy clickers, right? An email comes through and I've got to answer it right away. Okay, this looks okay. They don't take the time, energy, and effort, and they automatically click it, right? And just reporting is just not enough. So we've talked about like a Know Before, a Fish Me, a Fish Labs, a Wombat. There is absolutely, you guys will see today, we do have a training and awareness segment, and we think that's very, very important. But we really transformed ourselves to say, okay, what happens when a bad or malicious email, so a post email, hits the mailbox? What happens then? What do we need to do? And of course, folks on the phone know this. You guys are understaffed, right? You're doing multiple roles. You're not just the security team. You're the IT manager. You're the storage admin. And there's a lot of things and efforts that you guys do aside from just the security operations. So we also have a piece of it that there's no real-time collaborations with other analysts. And all these issues are why the epidemic is going on within phishing or malicious attacks. And these are issues and challenges that we help solve. Okay, next slide. So IronScales, who are we? Great question. So we're out of Tel Aviv, Israel, and we were incubated from the 8200 EISP group, which is the elite intel technology unit within the Israeli army. So that's how we're incubated. That's how we were founded. We have folks from the R&D team still there. And we started 5 years ago as a training awareness. That's really what we did, right? We figured if we can train our folks and our people within every organization to be able to spot a bad or malicious email, we'll be better served. And absolutely, the answer is, yep, that does help. But there's that variable, 10 to 20% of, well, what happens when a bad or malicious email is in the mailbox? And that's how we transformed our company from just becoming a training awareness company to being a technology security company, because everything we do is at the mailbox level. Let me repeat that. Everything we do is at the mailbox level. So it's always good, because we're going to go through these slides very, very quickly to talk about implementation. I usually talk about that at the end. I'll talk about it at the very beginning. Implementation for our technology is one click. Regardless if you have 200 employees or 200,000 employees, you can be protected from IronScales with one click. That's for Office 365, that's for any G Suite users, or that's for anybody that's just on Microsoft Exchange on-prem, or a hybrid of them all. No problem with us. Literally one click can protect your entire organization from phishing attacks. All right. So we're actually changing the way people think about email security. Next slide. So I'm going to talk very briefly about the products. And the reason why I want to make sure you guys know the products is we might talk about it in the demo so you actually have an idea, a thought process of what you're seeing. And so when we talk about it, you have an idea. So Iron Sights, which you'll see here in a little bit, is giving real-time information regarding each mailbox. So Iron Sights, we go back a year. We look and scan at your mail and understanding how you're leveraging the tool today. So Office 365. We go and look at who you're emailing, how you're emailing, what users. We're looking at the content, context, URL, attachments, signatures. We're doing all of it. So it's machine learning to understand how you leverage the messaging tool. And we'll show you Iron Sights in action. And then even more so, the Iron Traps. So the ability to detect, remove, and remediate bad or malicious email automatically, regardless of how big your organization is. And we'll show that in the demo. The federation piece, which is very, very unique, it's setting up a user community in which we're scanning millions and millions of emails every day. So if a bad or malicious email happens in the UK, it happens in California, New York, if a customer is protected by IronScales and they report something to Federation, the good news is you're already protected. We've seen it before, and we'll remove that bad or malicious email automatically. And as a security administrator or user, you would be notified to say, hey, look, IronScales did its job. We removed this email without any intervention from you or your security team. And the last piece is Iron Schools. So Iron Schools is our simulation and awareness training. And we'll show you a little bit of what that looks like, how easy it is to set up campaigns. We've got hundreds that you can choose from. We've got all of them you can edit. You can send out multiple level campaigns. You can send them all in, set them all in advance, and then next month it would go out automatically. You can pick and choose what division or department you'd like to do it. And the beauty of our solution is over a period of time, you'll see how your company is doing, who still is challenged, who's taking some of the training, all of that from an analysis perspective. So I'm going to stop the slides now, if that's okay, Kevin. Let's see if we can kind of turn it over to Ryan. And Ryan, I'll turn it over to you, and we'll do a live demo and see where the questions take us, okay?
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. So I am going to share my screen. Can everybody see that? Is that good for you, Adam?
Yeah, we got it.
Fantastic.
Looks great, buddy.
Great stuff. So yeah, so good evening, good afternoon, everybody. As Adam mentioned, my name is Ryan. I'm based in the UK and Ireland, sales director over here, and my job today really is to go through and kind of give you this demonstration that is kind of taking the UK and Ireland and definitely America and the rest of the world by storm. So I'm gonna kind of go through today. I'm gonna play the role of 3 different people. First of all, I'm gonna be a hacker. I'm going to send in an email to my inbox so we can kind of go through the demonstration. Then I'm going to play the role as a user. So when the user spots this into the inbox, what do they do from that point of view? And then I'm going to play the role of you guys, really. So, your IT managers, your SOC team members, and I'm going to kind of show you the role that you guys play as well. So I'm going to kind of go through this. Obviously, any questions, feel free to kind of pop it down on a note or ask at the end. More than happy to kind of go through this. So I'm going to quickly start off. I'm going to go into an email that I wrote here. So the role of the hacker. Not so sophisticated email, however, you get the gist of this. So I'm going to quickly send this in to my inbox within Iron-Scales. So Adam, you're going to be my guinea pig, my friend, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in.
Perfect stuff. So while that is kind of in the airwaves and coming into my inbox, we're going to kind of start off with kind of asking the kind of first question that we kind of like to do to get a feel for exactly where kind of your enterprise or your business, your company is. So that question there, Adam, really straightforward, really simple. As of today, so, with regards to the gateway, with what you've currently got in technology-wise, as of today, what percentage of your staff and users would successfully be able to identify one of today's sophisticated email phishing attacks? From a percentage, mate?
You're setting me up here, buddy, but I'm going to go with a little bit higher than the average. I'll say 35%. 35% of my users can depict a bad or sophisticated phishing attack. Yeah,
perfect. Okay. You gave the game away a little bit there, buddy, by saying a little bit higher than the industry standard, which is fine. It's great. Thank you very much. What we're kind of seeing is, it's around 20-25%, which is quite surprising, really. And for everybody on the call, I mean, I'm sure you've probably just picked a figure in your head there to kind of see where it is. So maybe just keep that figure in mind as we go through the demonstration. So thanks ever so much for that, Adam. I'm just going to come out of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the role of a user. Okay, so as you can see, here's my inbox. Really straightforward. You can kind of see here a couple of emails, all your standard emails, everything that you kind of expect. And then you can see this one here. Okay, so this is the one. I'm not going to click on it just yet. This is the one that's just been sent in via a hacker. Now, enterprise-wide, 200 people, 200,000 people. This is kind of coming to all the mailboxes. Now, as a user, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to click on this. Now, I want you to kind of give me the first noticeable difference when I click onto that.
It definitely would have to be the red bar that's there, Ryan.
Absolutely correct. The big red bar at the top. So this is Insights. This is what we're doing with regards to Adam. You just mentioned, we take a big deep dive into your mailbox. We get an understanding of the past 12 months, how that user's working, what's coming in, what IP addresses, signatures, what they're used to. When there's something that we don't know, this is how we alert them, the users. So again, I mean, what's coming. I'm going to go back to my question, and I'm going to ask this question here, buddy. What do you think now, with regards to that 35%, what do you think that has now gone up to?
I would say 85%.
85%, okie dokie. So a great increase there, 85%. And again, the people on the call probably, you know, kind of what you're thinking, you know, kind of see how that increase is happening, you know, kind of helped out. But while I just kind of bring my mailbox back up, I accidentally clicked out on that, sorry about that. But Adam, so, you know, 85% is a great increase. But what I want to kind of challenge is, and part of the, you know, job role that we're doing out in the field at the moment is, you know, like you said earlier, challenging that traditional thinking, you know. And I'm going to challenge you, Adam, to say, you know, why do you think that you know, 85% increase? Do you really think that there's going to be a certain amount of kind of users not to recognize that red bar there, or?
I think I've got some happy clickers that when an email comes in right away, regardless if it's a red bar or not, would pop it up. Okie dokie. Okay, perfect. I just know my users. How about I say that?
All right, perfect. So I'd still probably challenge that a bit more, but that's grand. So, all right, so perfect. We've increased to 85%. So as a user, I've clicked onto here. I've seen the big red bar. First things I'm going to do is probably speak to my line manager, speak to the people sitting next to me. I'm going to kind of look into this, and straight away it's going to kind of give me that trigger to say, actually, we have been doing some awareness training, you know, this is what it is. And, you know, visualization is click that kind of, you know, brain to trigger to say, right, this is something suspicious. It tells me it might be an impersonation attempt. So what do we do for Insights? What do we do to provide that user with the information that they need to kind of make that decision to say, is it okay, or do I report it as phishing? So what we do is on the drop down here, I'm just going to go ahead and click into this. As you can see, it's got a few bits of detail here for me. Now, you can see this is an authorized sender. Just for the purpose of the demo, this is one of the emails I use while I'm doing the demo, so it knows that I'm okay. But for the purpose of the demo, we're just going to go ahead and pretend that, you know, this is a suspicious email. So you can see a bit of the information here. Now, here it says similarity to Ryan O'Keefe. Okay, so maybe I've had some dealings with Ryan in the past. It's coming through. But Adam, I want you to kind of have a look over here and kind of tell me what you think the differences are with regards to why this would be flagged up as suspicious.
It looks like one's an O and one is a 0 on the email address.
Yep, absolutely.
And the way you spell O'Keefe, there's an extra F in there.
Absolutely.
Is what it looks like.
Yeah, perfect. So you're absolutely correct there. Yeah. So the difference is the double E, double F, and the difference is a 0 instead of a capital O. So as you can see, we're kind of given that information. Now I'm just going to pause that on there, and I'm going to kind of show you the difference. So let me go to Brendan. Brendan's one of our chaps who works over in Israel. His bar here is totally grayed out, but I'm just going to show you just so you can kind of get an appreciation for the difference. Here, when I drop down Brendan's, he's a 5-star. They know that he's, you know, an okay sender. They know that he's sent me over 103 emails, and I don't know if that's good. I've replied to 45. Maybe won't show him this bit, but as you can see, I've kind of, you know, sent some emails back. So again, the analyst in the background there is saying, yeah, Brendan's fine. It's all great. You know, this is some good communication going on between these mailboxes. So that's the difference. So I just want to kind of show you the difference there. So, okay, so I'm going to go back as the user, looked into this, spoke to my line manager, spoke to, you know, my colleagues. I'm going to say, right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually kind of report this as phishing. So as you can see, there's a couple of options, and that's with regards to the kind of setups. So I'm going to click on the report as phishing button, and then straight away, there'll be a pop-up box in the middle. Okay, so as I report that there, you can see that I've just had this come up, email reported as a phishing attack. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Now, if you just saw, I had 2 emails come through there as well. Now, that would not usually happen for the user. That usually happens for the SOC team member, the IT manager, but just for the purpose of the demo, I've put it in there because I'm part of the admin, so I can see these emails coming through to warn me. So if you just ignore those for now, and I want you to concentrate on when I click OK, I want you to concentrate here in the subject and here on the subject as well. So I'm going to click on there. Straight away, you can see that it's popped up here, reported as phishing, and here as well, reported as phishing. Okay, so I've gone ahead, I've reported that as phishing. It's kind of gave me that instant kind of notification. And again, you can see up here from our notification button, if I click on this, now this is something that the user will see. Okay, so the user who reports it has had this notification saying, hey, great job, email threat's really high, it's currently under investigation, thanks very much for your observations. 2 reasons to give the user instant gratification and make them feel fantastic. Secondly, we know that you guys are overburdened with all sorts of jobs. You don't want a user to come down to you every 5 minutes saying, hey, what's going on with that email, blah, 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 blah. So, you know, it's a kind of two-way thing there, but that's the notification. So I'm just going to carry on now, and I'm just going to come out of the email as the user. And now I'm going to kind of play a little role as a different user somewhere else in the business. So let's say I've come in late for the day. I might have been watching the Super Bowl really late over here. I might come in later. You know, I might have a meeting. I might have gone and got a coffee. I'm going to come in now, and this email is in my box. Let's just pretend this is down as, you know, unread. So I'm going to click on it, and straight away you see the difference there is the attention with the inline message highlighted in yellow. All totally editable, okay? The reason we put this in there is because, as I say, someone might have just quickly come in, clicked on that and said, oh, what's going on here, right? Okay, so again, you know, we're creating that awareness, we're creating that training, but we're also kind of giving that observation for the users to say, hey, this email been, you know, it's been notified by one of your co-workers, you know, please handle with care, blah, 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 okay? So again, all editable, and that's just something else that we do for you. Okay, so that's the role of the user. I'm going to take my hat off now, and I'm going to put my hat on as a SOC team member, IT manager, CISO, whoever I may be. So,
hey Ryan.
Hey, yeah, yes.
Fantastic so far. Thanks. Got a question that came up from Carla. I thought we'd just bring it up real quick. She has a question regarding the add-in, the Outlook add-in there. She wants to know if it plays well between the dynamic CRM and the Outlook add-in. Do they play well together? You know, with the IronScale solution.
So, I'd presume so. Adam or Yaniv, do you want to take that?
Yeah. Yes, of course. Thanks, Ryan. For now, there is no conflict with IronSight or IronTrap installation. So thank you for your question.
Okay, so great. So
and we use it here at Champion. So I have both. I have both installed on mine, Carla, and I really have no problems with either one of them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Like we said, we use Dynamic CRM here with Office 365, and we haven't seen a challenge with it. So just wondering. And then Sandy Dela Cruz had a question. Is there a 64-bit version of the add-in?
Of course, yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you for the
question. We're using Microsoft API. I'm sorry. We're using Microsoft API for sure, and we have support for 64-bit and x86. Okay, these are both supported.
Great. Carla, you're welcome. Sandy, thank you so much for your question. And let's go ahead and hand it back to you, Ryan.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So yeah. So I've played the part of the users, and now, as I said, I'm going to kind of play the part of the SOC team members, IT managers, and whoever's kind of admin for this. So wherever I am, I have this email come through to me saying, hey manager, look, there's an attack, it's been reported, you know, please go and figure out, go and have a little look. Now, we make it nice and easy. You've got some options here that you can kind of go ahead with. However, what we always kind of recommend to do, and the best way of, or the best course of action, is to go into our website and go into your members area. So what we do is it kind of brings you to your dashboard. And again, let me just say, for the purpose of the demonstration, I have this in demo mode, so I don't really have a lot of figures. But with regards to the simulation and awareness training that you'll do, with regards to the amount of attacks that may possibly come through, this will be a lot higher. So just, you know, bear that in mind there. So as a SOC team member, I'm going to go into my resolution center, and I'm going to go to attack page. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the date, who's it sent from, bank details as your subject, reported by who, and you've got unverified, and then at the end we've got some actions. Now, we understand, and Adam's already mentioned this in great detail today, that, you know, you guys are totally overburdened, you know, constantly fighting fires. You know, we don't want to have to give you too much work. We want to make this as seamless as possible, and we want to actually take the workload off you. So what we do in this phishing attack page, we give you all that information that you need to do, okay? What you need to kind of have a look at and make that decision, say, actually, yeah, this is an attack, let's verify, or actually it's a false positive. So, you know, let's kind of just mark it down as that. So we give you some information, as you can see over here. If there was an email attachment, if there was any links, this would all be scanned there, you'd have the information. And then if you click on here with regards to the headers view, we give you all the metadata that you need to kind of make that decision. So received, sent, signatures, reply paths, everything that you need, IP addresses, everything that you need to make that formal decision. So, you know, you could possibly speak to, you know, kind of your line manager, or speak to any of the other people in your team, and you can be saying, look, you know, we've got all this details, you know, what should we do? Should we go ahead and make this kind of, should we verify it as an attack? So for the purpose of demo, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and verify, okay? But I will just point out these buttons here as well. So you can mark it as false positive, you can mark it as spam, and you can permanently delete it. We'd always say though, verify as attack, because as Adam mentioned earlier with Federation, we look at it as a kind of one for all and all for one approach, you know. So if we were to verify this attack now, it means everybody else in federations will be successfully protected from it. So we always say, let's go ahead and verify this as an attack. So I've done my bit there. It comes back to our resolution center. As you can see, the main difference here is verified, okay? So I'm just going to quickly check on my emails there, okay? So as you can see, we've got verified there, which is fantastic. Now, in the background, okay, and this is a line Adam used the other day. I think it's fantastic. We got iron traps working in the background. Was it the secret sauce you said, Adam? Is that the magic behind the motion?
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's
so we've got the magic. We've got the magic sauce, the secret ingredients in the background. Now looking at this, so I'm going to go back into my inbox. Okay, this is where the kind of magic happens, so to say. I'm going to click on the highlighted email in a moment. Okay, now I could be a user anywhere else in the business, 200 people, 200,000 people. When I click on this email, the infected email, the suspicious email, it's going to disappear. It's going to disappear from my mailbox. It's going to disappear from all of our enterprise-wide mailboxes, okay? Potentially saving you hundreds of thousands, millions of pounds, GDPR regulations, reputational damage, shareholder damage. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this now, and you'll notice it will slowly disappear from my mailbox. So if I go ahead now, there's the email, and slowly gone. And you have to trust me that that was done, and it weren't me kind of deleting it. And that is the absolute magic of it. So that has gone enterprise-wide, 200, 100,000, 200,000 mailboxes, absolutely cleared out. Server-side remediation, it's gone out of there as well, and it's no longer infected. And also with regards to Federation, anybody else who, you know, subscribes to this, they're also protected as well.
Wow.
So
Brian,
that is, yep.
Brian, a couple questions that we're getting popped up here that we need to address. You know, fantastic. So the first one is that basically you got phished, you reported it, we went ahead and verified it, and it automatically stopped any other, if it was in anybody else's other mailbox, it would disappear. Is that correct? 100%
correct, yes.
Okay, so you're just not monitoring and telling somebody something happened, you're actually doing something about it.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, you know, Adam mentioned earlier, we understand how busy and overburdened you guys are. You know, we want to take that workload away from you. So, you know, we do this simple as that, real quick, and that's real time. That's how, you know, quick and easy it is. Adam, sorry, I jumped in there, buddy. You crack on, mate.
No, absolutely. So that's one piece of it. Just keep in mind, this is when someone reports it as phishing and it's been verified as a phishing attack. We are going through, if a bad or malicious email hits your inbox, I want to make sure that people know that we are also scanning through multiple cloud AV providers as well as our own forensics analysis. So we are looking at everything in real time as an email comes through to determine if it's a bad or malicious email. If it is, the administrator would be notified to say, real similar how Ryan, when he reported it as phishing, the administrator would say, Iron Scales caught a bad or malicious email. Here are the mailboxes affected. We removed it because we've already seen it somewhere else. Our scan cloud and AV infrastructure has detected that it's a bad or malicious email, and we removed it automatically. So we're kind of showing you here the human aspect of things, leveraging the machine aspect of things, but just keep in mind that Iron Scales is leveraging both simultaneously in real time.
Gotcha. Here's several questions. Let's knock some of these out here. A really good question a few people asked. This one, Robert, you know, several people asked, like what Robert asked is, can you show, maybe I'll show this later, but how about a mobile device client, i.e. an Apple OS or Android? How can you report a phishing
or even
there?
the web?
Or even the web. What about that that perspective? We had a few people ask that.
Yeah, absolutely. So mobile is definitely part of it. Now, there isn't a button that they would click as report as phishing, but what they would do is we would set up a 911 mailbox with their domain, so 911 at, and from there, they could forward on that email, and that process that you see would take place. The security team would be notified, they'd see it, they can remove it, and then automatically, assuming it's been a verified attack, they would automatically reap the benefits and remove. So it's a forward process on a 911 mailbox that we would use as well. Now, Ryan's kind of shown you some of the mitigation centers. This is kind of where you set up some of that information, as well as we connect to multiple SIM providers, right? So if you have Splunk, QRadar, and some others, very, very easy, seamless integration with those as well. So to answer the mobile device pieces, the answer is yes, absolutely. We set up a 911 mailbox and it works and acts exactly the same. There's just not that report as phishing button based on the OSs that we have to use with mobile devices.
Okay, great, thank you. The other one, a question comes in. Would there be ever a case where a legitimate email came in with misspellings and misleading friendly name and email addresses? In other words, they would go through and it would reach the inbox. So you understand the question from William on that?
Yeah. So let's assume that that Chris Pyle sends everyone in his organization a Happy New Year email, right? And someone reports it as phishing. Ryan just pulled up the mitigation center. One of the actions that you can have is mark as a false positive. You can click that from an email box perspective, and then automatically, regardless of how many mailboxes you have in the organization or who has received that, it would automatically be pushed back into the mailboxes with no user intervention whatsoever.
Excellent, thank you. From Mike Gonzalez, sometimes the same attack comes from different email addresses or has a slightly different subject line. So if multiple mailboxes receive phishing messages, do the details of the message need to be identical in order for it to detect the message as a single attack?
So the answer is absolutely not, right? So there's definitely cousins of bad or malicious attacks. We would still recognize it as such, even slight changes of subject line changes, different URL links that are still bad or malicious. It doesn't matter to us. We recognize it once, and all the sister or cousin properties of it, we still have it, and it would still work and leverage the same way, and it would remove automatically. Keep in mind, we're looking at the content, context, URLs, executables, attachments, signatures. We're covering all of that as well. So even if it changes just slightly or significantly, but we still recognize it as bad as part of the same attack, it would be automatically removed.
Excellent, great. Daniel asked, what happens if you misclick the verification button? Is there a way to undo that action?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can, so again, as Adam just mentioned there, if you mark it as a false positive, it will be put back in. Then you can go into the details and have a look and then kind of, make that decision again.
Excellent, excellent. This one's from Phil Blake. Is there anything that Iron Scales can do regarding spear phishing attacks that have already happened? We are currently having an issue where some clients are receiving emails regarding due invoices. It appears as if they are doing some social engineering to make the email seem a lot more legit.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, absolutely. We go back up to a year. So we can go and investigate everything back into the year. We can remove those bad or malicious emails up to that point, not just on the mailbox level, but even PSTs and things of that nature. So hopefully that answers your question. Yanni, is there anything else on that piece?
No, perfect.
Okay. Excellent. Tim Hazlitt asks, is there a way to recover a misdiagnosed deleted message?
Yeah, so that's why we discuss marking it as mark as verified instead of permanently delete. So we keep everything, so you do have everything, and then again, it's just one click of a button to move it back.
Getcha. Okay, great. It was also William Talbot also asked, is there any type of demo we can use on maybe 10 to 20 mailboxes, see how it work within his organization? That's a really good question. I'm sure other people are wondering, is there a demo or a proof of concept that our customers could use?
So the answer is absolutely. Yeah, we leverage obviously our premier partner Champion Solutions as well as our own team to help you set up proof of concepts, whether that's 5, 10 users that you would like to test the environment, see iron sights and iron traps in action, as well as we'll go through it here and maybe in the next couple minutes of showing you some of the training awareness pieces so you can kind of test your users. But the answer is an emphatically yes, and working through Champion Solutions Group is how we would start that process.
Great. And we're going to open up William Talbot's microphone. So William, you're asking questions, and I don't think I'm articulating it properly. Would you mind asking it over the phone here? I'd appreciate that.
Okay, I don't know. Whoa. Did you open it up on my?
All right. Hey.
We're getting feedback from you, William. Sorry about that. If you turn your speaker down, I'll unmute you in just a second here, and then you'll be able to ask your question. All right, go ahead.
Is that better?
Yes.
Let me turn this off.
All right. Well, William, sorry, we can't make that work. We'll call you back and do this one-on-one. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, go ahead, guys.
Okay, yeah, so what you just saw today is iron sights, which is the red bar, which again, it's taking real-time information regarding each mailbox and understanding how you guys use and leverage your mailbox. So that's where that red bar comes into play if we don't recognize a good or a malicious email. The iron traps is kind of the secret sauce where some of the magic happens as far as the removal of those bad or malicious emails. Very, very seamless to all your end users, and they get the benefit of having a report as phishing button as well as a notification button to kind of set you guys up so you're not fielding questions saying, hey, I sent you an email. Was that a bad attack? It gives them that real-time pieces and they don't have to hunt you down. But sometimes, or how we started, was the training and awareness piece. And as you can see from Ryan's screen, we've got over hundreds that you can choose from. Very, very easy. We do have 7 languages, although in Ryan's view, it's only showing English today. Just keep in mind there's 7 and soon to be 8 languages. So if you have a global company and organizations, we can help scale that. In the scenario pieces, we've got things like a URL link. You can set it up as attachment. You can do it as a call for action where it's credentials, or smishing, which is SMS texting. So the example that Ryan's pulling up now is a LinkedIn request. It looks fairly easy and basic. This could be one of the ones where you kind of hit accept. What you're seeing now is one of our canned reports. It looks kind of real, right? And this particular LinkedIn piece can be all customizable. You can change the picture, you can change the language or who it is, all in a single click. And he's popping it up now. If you can scroll, it's all cut and paste. So a lot of the time what our customers use, they use one of the 100 ones that we already have canned, and they just edit it to fit their description. So they can edit it, you can have the language change, you hit accept, and then from there, you can roll that out. You can roll it out to different department heads. You can roll it out to your entire organization. Just keep in mind, we've got 5 different levels. So those folks that are new to the organization might not get the same email as someone that's been there for a while that can detect and really look at a phishing attack. So we've got different levels based on, because we don't feel that one size fits all. And then from there, we've got lots of things you can do. From there, it could just go to if someone clicks a bad link, it can go to a landing page. It could be a landing page and then take some of the training awareness, or it could be a landing page, training awareness, or even there's a gamified test. And then from there, you can see who can and who can't determine what a bad or malicious email looks like going into their mailbox. All of this, again, that Ryan's showing you is customizable. You can put your logo on there. It can be sent in many different ways. Again, we try to make it easy so you guys can have the ability to change and adjust it as you seem fit, or just leverage what we have today, which it could be good enough for your organization. You can change this verbiage, like I said, from the landing page, whatever your comfort level is. So that's all we were really going to show from this piece, from a training awareness. But I think one of the big pieces that everyone's asking is, okay, that's great, you guys do this, but where do I have my reports? What does that look like? How can I make sure that my organization is getting better? You can do that in a number of different ways, but we've got more reports than you'll know what to do with, all of them can be pulled into an Excel spreadsheet so you can take to your senior managers and see how the improvement, which company or which department head is struggling, which needs a little bit more work, maybe what individuals need more work. We do this in a number of ways. We do this from a training awareness perspective, as well as our customers every week get a report that talks about which emails or how many emails we had removed that week, right? To make sure that we're doing our job, to make sure you're showing that your investment is actually working for your organization. He's pulling up some of the campaigns, the average pieces, how many were lured, how many weren't. It can go down into individuals. You can see your changes. All this stuff, again, folks, is something that you can download into Excel that you can take to your senior managers and say, hey, look, we're doing a really good job, or we still need some work. All right. Ryan, is there anything you'd want to add, Yaniv, on this part?
Hey, Ryan, sorry, Ryan and Adam and team. Several more questions. I know we're coming up, but there's a lot more questions coming in. So can we just throw some of those out?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Orest Hoffman asked a question. I think it's a really good one. On initial setup, would it scan all mailboxes and identify previously sent attacks?
So the answer is yes, going back up to a year.
Okay, great. Thank you for that question, Orest. I appreciate that.
Do you keep copies of emails? This is a privacy issue.
So the answer is no. We don't keep them at all, but we are scanning. We are scanning all the emails that do come in real time. The metadata, the signatures, all of it. But we are not keeping them. No, we are not. Okay.
Albert Kish asked a question. Does it work with Office 365 Exchange hosted by Microsoft? And I think the answer to that one is it works, yes, whether it's Office 365 on-premise. And what about a third-party hoster who's hosting Exchange? Would it work with just a third-party provider who's hosting Exchange?
Yeah, for us, that doesn't matter. It just matters on that messaging pieces, the Office 365 or on-prem or a hybrid of it. As long as we have access or can get access rights into the administrator piece, the answer is yes.
Excellent. Here's a great question, and I know many of you, like David, might be using Office 365 ATP or Advanced Threat Protection. So David says, hi, we're using Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection at this moment. Is Iron Scales an extra protection of Office 365 ATP, or is Iron Scales a more secure way to protect email than ATP?
Oh boy, that's a good one for sure. So today, we are not a spam filtering, and ATP and EOP, for that matter, do a decent job of some of the spam filtering pieces. So we are more of a secure way in addition to ATP. But I have to tell you that without question, that is the direction we are taking our organization, that we can be that spam filtering. Just today, we're not there yet because we're really focusing on the bad and malicious emails that are getting through an ATP scenario. But we are headed that way as a directional piece of the company.
Great, thank you for that. Sandy has asked a couple questions. She said, sorry, I might have missed this. So the solution is an Outlook add-in, ? Nothing that hooks into Office 365, ? Do
you want to take that, Yaniv?
I'm sorry, can you repeat it, please?
Yeah, Sandy asked, I might have missed this. So the solution is an Outlook add-in?
Yeah, that's correct. And we have...
There's nothing that hooks into Office 365 per se.
Okay, actually we have a few options. First is the MSI installation. This is what you see here, the report is phishing and the notification. This is coming together. And the report is phishing on the right side, on the top corner. This is OWA plugin. You asked earlier about web access. It will be supported. It's supported as well for Outlook web access as well. And we have such a solution for integration with the server side to remediate the threats or the attack from the server itself. And we have also integration, if you would like to allow us to do what we call the webhook. Webhook, it's an API coming from Microsoft, allowing us to get into the server and do the investigation and to do the crawling, and then to do the remediation automatically from the server itself. So there are a few different ways that you can choose from.
Great. Hopefully that answers your question, Sandy. Arthur Poole, are there any mail quarantines available for admins or end users?
You can decide what to do with the email. If it will go to the deleted items or it will go to the permanently delete. Okay, you can choose what to do with the email, with the thread itself.
Excellent. This question I know we get asked a lot. It's one that Kevin brought up. Is there any latency in scanning and identification? And if so, what is the determinant of the latency?
There is no performance impact on the Outlook. On the first installation that we're doing the crawling, it will be in the backend, and we are limiting the RAM and the CPU that we will utilize. So no effect whatsoever on the Outlook. This is the most sensitive model that you have on your computer, so it's very important for us to keep it that way.
Okay. Sandy had another question. What permissions do you need in Office 365 for the integration?
Admin rights.
Thank
Admin
you.
rights. If you would like to do the integration, the full integration with the webhook, if you would like to do the installation on the MSI or the OR plugin, it can be with the impersonation or delegation permission.
Great. Thank you. Austin had a great question. He said, do the reports narrow to a single user? In other words, if a VP is asking for info on one user, is there a report that narrows it down to a single user? Good question, Austin.
Yeah, you can get a report and you can show a specific user. Absolutely.
Great. Albert Kish, another good question. Is it HIPAA compliant?
It's a good question. We don't have the certification for HIPAA being compliant, but we do meet all the security standards that would involve HIPAA. We do have lots of medical institutions and hospitals using it today.
So is that answer, you're not sure? It's not there yet?
We don't have the certification for it yet, but we are working on it, but we do meet all the guidelines for HIPAA compliance.
Perfect. Hope that answers your question there, Albert. Tony, good question. Tony Prokes. Does it work with multiple languages, English, German, Chinese, Spanish, etc.?
Yeah, we have 7 languages today that we do leverage. Ryan, if you can maybe pull that up. I think it's in your account profile. It'll show
account settings. Yeah.
Yep, account settings. Yeah, real quick, we can show you what that looks like. Scroll down. Want to make sure I let you know. So we have Chinese, English, French, German, Hebrew, Portuguese, and Spanish, and soon we'll have Japanese as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. I hope that. Thank you, Tony, for that question. Kevin, another question. Does automatic download pictures or any settings in Outlook impact effectiveness?
No.
No.
It doesn't affect us. No.
Okay, great. Okay. Well,
we got like 3 minutes left, guys. Do you want one more message you guys need to give?
No, we appreciate the time. Hopefully we showed you enough on how we can prevent, and we talked about really the problems or issues that are being tasked of you guys on this phone from a phishing and email protection perspective. As I mentioned, IronScales protects things at the mailbox level in real time, leveraging the human element as well as the machine element. A lot of the time, 95% of our customers, we do proof of concepts or specialized demos. And my ask would be just reach out to your Champion Solutions Group account executive, and we're more than happy to set it up with our full customer success team in conjunction with Champion Solutions Group. Great.
Well, that's fantastic. Listen, thank you all very much for taking some time. So, really, what is the next steps? We're going to be reaching out to you see if you would like to have any more information, or if you would like to do a demonstration proof of concepts, maybe within your organization. And we can also discuss, what the pricing is, with you, depending on what your needs are. The other thing that I know a lot of people ask is this a service? Because a lot of people don't have time to set up automated phishing campaigns or somebody to actually manage this on a basis. And yes, Champion and MessageOps can, do that for you on your behalf. We can manage the whole Iron Scales platform, do phishing, do the reporting on your behalf if you would like. So we will be in touch. We are another question came in. We have this recorded and we'll be able to go ahead and share that with the group, so you can share it with those who could not make the meeting. What can I say except thank you guys. Ryan, great job. Adam, thank you very much. And to all of our clients and prospects and friends, thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.